trophy, and you're not gonna start sweating. You're right. You won't see him. It's too late. You're fucking dead on.
Making that intro, it really reminded me of an older video I made, my snow trail video, and it made me realize that back then, that was the second time this game completely changed my life. The first time, I'll get to that in a minute. A game changing your life, it sounds a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Cringe. But it changed my life all the same, twice by my count. The first time was when I really began playing it during what was a very difficult time in my life. I enjoyed countless hours in the game with a few friends at first, then by myself with the occasional visitor. But more and more frequently these days, I play it alone as well as with strangers from all around the world. The second time it changed my life, however, was when I met all of you guys. Aww. And this YouTube channel took me on a journey that, quite frankly, I still can't believe is happening. So why does any of this even matter? Well, it might not to you, it probably doesn't, but it really means a lot to me. Because the list of games that have had a big impact on my life, it's not a long list. And I'm okay with saying that this game kept me focused and comforted during good and not so good periods, where it offered both peace and a bit of headspace as I played alone, as well as fun times and friendships with others too. So, after a lot of reflection about where I've been, I want to discuss what it is about Ghost Recon Breakpoint that changed my life, what it is that I love about the game, what I would change about it, at least for the next title, as well as what I believe are some of the best settings, ideas, playstyles, and approaches to experiencing and enjoying this game at its fullest potential. I really do believe that if you give even some of these ideas a go, you will see that this game has a lot more to offer than many give it credit for. Whether you're on console or PC, no matter what type of player you may be, I believe there's something in this for everybody. Love or hate it, just remember that one man's trash is another man's treasure. And it's okay not to like the same thing, so if it's not for you, it's not for you. Anyway, I hope you give this video and this game a chance. Or maybe it's your second chance. Maybe it's your third. Who knows? Like if you enjoy. Feel free to subscribe if you're new, but no more delays. Let's get started. Okay, so we are, of course, on Gollum Island. My plan is actually to go much deeper into Gollum Island for a mission I have in the Iridium Mines. It's to pick up a bit of drone technology, and it's one of the Gollum Island exploration missions. But of course, exploration doesn't come without its risks. So we're keeping an eye on everything around us. Not hearing any voices, so that's a plus. Although I was hoping for a bit of action before I got started. A little bit of warm-up, you know? Okay, we're heading north, so I'm just going to push up in this direction. And it's going to get very, very green. I think before moving on though, I really want to explain what I said at the start of this video and follow through with a story on that. Because you can't just say a game changed your life and not actually explain why. So, let me do that for you. A few years back, I was a caregiver for my granda, and needless to say, while it was a big privilege to keep him company and take care of him, and from previous years of family loss and bottling up grief, I basically hit massive burnout after he passed away. I, like I always have, kept that grief bottled up until I was just completely empty, exhausted, and as low as I could go. Sure enough, there was a moment where I was basically told I needed to go and speak to somebody about it, so I agreed. And I'm not going to harp on about caring for your mental health, folks, but don't knock it. I had many a conversation about various topics with them, but one topic that they noticed changed my body language was when I spoke about my career in video games. They asked me how I felt about video games and what my history with them was in a non-professional sense. And basically from what I was being told, my body language totally changed and I almost lit up when reminiscing about various video games. This was a point in my life, however, where I simply was not playing video games, and I had nothing in the tank to care about doing so, despite the best reason I played games was to give me that great positive feeling that so many of us enjoy. So I was actually given some homework to basically go and find a game to play, not forcing it, but simply if I found time I wasn't using for anything else, to try find a game to enjoy playing. At the time I had PlayStation Plus membership and I went through a cavalcade of games that the uninstall and install time was longer than the play time, let's just put it that way. Until I hit Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I picked it up and while the story and characters were not doing anything for me, the world of Aroa blew me away. I sat down to play this and I looked at my watch hours later and realised that it wasn't daytime anymore. I'd started playing, I don't know, maybe about 4 PM or something, and I'd been playing this game up until nearly midnight. And I think that made me realise that I cracked the hard exterior that was somehow keeping me from wanting to do something I've relied on and enjoyed for many years. And that's likely why I hold Breakpoint in such a special regard, because it's not the best game ever. It's got a lot of problems, but it's a game of grave importance to me for those reasons. I doubt that Breakpoint will have that kind of impact on others, but I'm pretty sure you folks will have your own stories of various moments in your life, good or bad, that have had a game or games carry you through those times. And if you do, then hopefully you can appreciate the power that game or those games have. Okay, that's as heavy as a video is going to get, I promise. So I need to get across this bridge here. Little flashbang. Should mix things up. Just the one? It was a flashbang, that's right. Though I think my flashbangs could use a little more bang. Okay, let's push across the bridge and we're on our way to Camp Salamander. So I was thinking the other day about what type of player I am when it comes to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And initially I thought, well, you know, I'm quite slow and methodical. I like to recon an area, plan out my entry and exit points, all that kind of stuff. But then I realized I actually like a variety of playstyles. So I started writing them out and it made me realize that each playstyle actually relies on two different categories. One being settings and the other is tactics. So let's start with my favorite settings. Alright, so if you go to your menu and head to Ghost Experience Perimeters, and I'm just going to quickly break down everything that I do. So gear score is something I don't use, but it's absolutely fine if it's something you like. My enemies are set to extreme. Now I do change this sometimes down to advanced depending on what my tactical difficulties are, because I will increase some things to be far more severe, and there's kind of a balance between the two and you can find a lot of fun in. So let's take a look in the tactical difficulties as well. Right away you can see I have a custom setup for this and I like to use just the one primary weapon. I reduce my bandages as low as possible with syringes not healing injuries. Risk of injury, I have it on often, though I think rare is fine as well. It really just depends what you can get your enjoyment out of. Don't do something because people are saying that's the best way to do it, you know? That's why there's so many options. We have a lot of leeway with this. I like to leave stamina consumption on regular, and I put health generation to original. And one of my favorite ones is ammo loss on reload. Now I actually really remembered how great this was from playing Helldivers 2, where you will lose ammo if you reload and you've got bullets left. So yeah, I like this one. Everything down here is switched off and the social hub set to group only. All this is set to all. Now the beauty of my interface is actually that my HUD is pretty much non-existent. So rather than show you what I've switched off, I'm just going to quickly show you what I keep on. So the first thing that I like to keep on is the interaction shader. And this is usually on loot and boxes that you're going to interact with. The other thing I like to keep on is the HUD marker objectives because I get lost otherwise. I also keep on HUD markers for communication. This is good with your AI teammates as well as with co-op, so you can ping places or set up sync shots. I just find it handy to have this on if I'm playing with either the AI squad or with other people online. Otherwise, everything else is switched off. Now, I have mods for this on the PC, but if you're a console player, this is how you basically remove things like hit sounds, headshot sounds, and the detection sound, even if you've taken off the detection gauge. UI volume, it controls all of those things. So if you just bring this down to 0, yes, you'll lose some UI sounds, but it's worth trying it out and seeing if it's something you're into. You could even reduce the volume quite massively of this and just have it on very slightly, like a little hint, and just see how you feel about it until maybe you want to phase it out completely, or not at all. Another option for increasing the difficulty, I guess, of the game, if you feel extreme just isn't enough for you, is to reduce the voice volume to 0. Now, I know this means you won't be able to hear people in cutscenes, so that is a kind of trade-off, but it turns off all of the enemy vocal cues, so that you don't hear them when they're sitting talking about various stories and whatnot, as a way to kind of go, the enemy is here. And it means that if you're not really listening to footsteps and keeping an eye out and doing recon, you're likely going to bump into enemies without any idea they were there in the first place. Now, these tips apply to console players and PC players, but this tip I think is an interesting one that you can try out, especially if you're playing the free Operation Motherland DLC, which, quite frankly, I think is better than the main game itself. If you haven't tried it yet, head onto the map, hit the map button again, and you'll have an option to switch over to it. Thank me later. But if you change the audio language to something else like, say, Russian, because the Bodocs are Russian, and we've seen Bodocs before in previous Ghost Recon games, and I think if you change it from them having a Russian accent to actually speaking Russian, like the way the enemies in Wildlands spoke fluent Spanish, it kind of just feels more believable, I think. Now, the trade-off of this is that Nomad now speaks fluent Russian, as does everyone else in the cutscenes. However, if you're not interested in the cutscenes and you're just kind of skipping through to kind of get into the game, this is kind of cool to do every now and then, albeit it's probably not foolproof, and it would be nice in the future if Ubisoft just put in an extra option for me to be able to change the enemy language without changing the allied language, even if it's a toggle like enemies speak in their native tongue, something like that. Man, you just can't beat how green these forests are on Gollum Island. Fantastic. Oh, hello. We got a pack of wolves. And I think they're walking my way. Either way, let's pop them. Now, you might be wondering, they don't look like wolves, and that's because I'm actually using a Shadow Company mod that makes them look a lot cooler, I think. Dusted. Okay, onwards to Camp Salamander. Cars overcrowded? Health and safety, surely? There she is. Alright, we are at our vantage point for Salamander, so I can get a look in. But ideally, I want to get through this camp as quickly as possible, because it's not our main objective, but it is very much in the way. Let me see. Got a breacher. 1, 2 wolf snipers. Decent dose of patrols, left and right of the entry. A lovely mortar as well, that's good. Oh, there's lots of fun down here. But our plan is to get in here and head up to that direction. That there is the Iridium mine. And we've got some drone tech to take out in Sector 3. So let's get to it. Excuse me? Hamlet? Is that you? I can't get over how gorgeous the environment detail is in this. It always blows me away. Ubisoft do environments incredibly well. Okay, let's see. Hold on. There's health and safety again. Let him pass. Get him looking at me. Between the teeth. Oh yes. Lovely. Just waiting a second to see if anyone gets alerted. I think we're clear. Now, while there seems to be nobody coming out of the base to look for me, it sounds like a group of wolves have appeared right behind me. Let me have a look here. I see 1, 2. Alright, let's just push him. Ooh. That looks like 5. Alright. Busy bees. Now we can push in. Just taking a peek. Okay, let's disable this turret. I'm gonna try and keep to the right here, I think. Looking clear. Oh, my back. Oh. Tell me more. I wouldn't worry about your brain. What? Hello. Goodbye. Looking clear up here. Let's take a peek over there. No rooftop patrols. That's good. Okay, let's double back, get downstairs. Clear on the right. Oh, one right there. Alright, it's actually oddly quiet. So I'm going to push for the middle. Oh, we got a coffer? I got the solution for that, mate. Best way to stop a cough. Alright, we're clear from Salamander and we're on our way to the Iridium Mines. But before that, I want to break down some of my favorite tips and tactics when I'm playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Whether you play completely solo or with the AI squad, I think we can all agree that there are certain limitations that the AI squad have. However, there are some good options towards using them in different cases. So this particular scenario, I switch off Fury and fix it, leaving a 2-man team of myself and Facility. At that point, I tell Facility to come to my position, usually at an overwatch point. So I'm going into this prison to rescue some outcasts. And I want him to provide overwatch and sync shot with me whenever I have more than one enemy I need to take care of. By simply using the order wheel, I can tell him to sit on this hill and hold position. That means he'll take shots from a distance and not move into sight, getting in my way, which is perfect. And you can do that by going in your item wheel and switching to the order wheel. Pretty straightforward.
You're good where you are. Hold. I got you. Holding here.
Here's just an example of it in action.
Moving in. Ready to shoot.
No, I got nothing over here.
Rock and roll. Nice shot.
Now, this is a great way of playing with support that doesn't get in your way. However, if you want to mix it up again, you can play it a lot more chaotic and lean into the fire team dynamic, which I know Ghost Island Thunder is a big fan of this. He uses something called Spartan mod for PC, which changes the perception values and damage values of a lot of different things in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. As far as I know, he runs it on the default settings as well, so yeah, certifiably crazy, okay? Don't mess with him. But if you're on PC, definitely try out this mod. Whether you're console or PC, what I would really recommend is running a team of 3. And since Fury seems to throw grenades at every given chance, I actually like to pick Fix-It and Facility a lot for this fire team setup. But of course, you can go all 4, take suppressors off, and just go wild. And that's actually something I'd love to see in the next Ghost Recon. More in-depth AI squad commands. Because we only really have 4 commands, and when you look over at the likes of Ready or Not, we really lack in that department. But since the leaks suggest that Ready or Not may be a big influence for the next Ghost Recon, I'm really hopeful that we see more depth in this area. Now, as you know, I am an advocate for playing this game by myself, and honestly, of the 3 runs that I did on this prison break mission, I'd say solo is definitely my favorite playstyle, for sure. Anyway, at this point, I want to talk about some of the things I want to keep for the next Ghost Recon, some of the things I want to get rid of, as well as some mods that I think make Breakpoint great right now, and a final tip which I think is invaluable for any Ghost Recon Breakpoint player. Now, a lot of people have fired back at the idea that the next Ghost Recon is going to be first-person perspective. And I think that if they are going to do this, Ubisoft really do need to consider the option for both third and first-person. However, I can't really think of a game that's done that up to now. And that in itself either makes me very excited for the first ever Ghost Recon that would give you both perspectives, or kind of worried that we may be about to polarize the current Ghost Recon community. Now, having said that, maybe it's going to be a good thing. Maybe we'll have mods that bring in third person, or maybe it was just a leak put out by Ubisoft to kind of feel out what people thought about having a first person perspective. From what the leak suggests though, it is a massive visual upgrade, so I'll probably give it a go, and I'll go in with open eyes and see what it's like. This is the first person mod, which I've shown before for Breakpoint by Tavrif. He also did the first person mod for Wildlands, and it's just one guy made these in his spare time. While yes, they may be a little bit jank and not totally perfect, they're pretty good for free mods made by one man in his spare time, I'd say. And in the original video, you might have noticed that the field of view I had on was quite set back. I've actually dialed it right down in this video, and it makes a big difference. Anyone around here? Oh man, he really blends in. Yeah, he's fully blended in now. Into the dirt. Looks clear in here. Alright, before I give what I believe is the best tip for enjoying Breakpoint at its fullest potential, I want to talk about what can be better in the next Ghost Recon Breakpoint and what I don't want to see. In terms of things that should stay or be in the game, I like the idea of a better focus on modern military elements and a more gritty, realistic modern shooter experience. Options for immersion, I think, should not be limited to PCs and modders. I think that stuff that I've removed, like the headshot sounds, the hit sounds, detection gauge sounds, even the red shaders on the ground to show whenever a grenade's going to go off or a mortar's going to land, console players should have access to removing these kind of things as well. I think customization is pretty good in terms of gear, but I do think it could go further and have a more in-depth builder that just lets people get things wrong if they want to, because while some people may make awful jank things, there's going to be a lot more people that make really interesting stuff that hopefully then they can upload to the Ghost Recon community and people can download it and use it on their own builds as well. I think in terms of both squad and enemy AI, both need to be a lot more interesting. The fact we have a mod like Spartan mod and the fact that there's talk of the Ready or Not influence on the next game means that this is part of the conversation right now. And I feel that everybody wants to see a bigger upgrade to both sides of the coin in terms of enemy AI and squad AI. I mean, just look at this. Okay, just go there.
I need you to sit in over there.
There's no way.
I can see you behind me. Yep. Now stay still. No. Where you go? Where you going? Don't jump off. Don't you do it. For Okay, let's try this again. And just sit right there. Now.
Hold positions.
Now
Copy. We're staying put.
you're staying put, are you?
Maintain current position.
No, that's not maintaining. Where are you going? Don't jump off that. Don't. I've told you about. I mean, what the? Hold.
You're good where you are. Hold.
Hold. Hold. Don't jump off that ledge. Yeah. Oh my god. He wants to die! Yeah, I think it's safe to say the AI needs a lot of work. Although I know this is probably not going to happen, but I think DRM needs to go. Having to be online for a single player game to me feels ridiculous. If there's a justification for it, I still don't agree with it. I do think it should be got rid of. I had thought about getting rid of gear score, but honestly I understand some people quite like that, but I would like to see something that binds the community together and is maybe a little bit less on the RPG elements side of things. I think matchmaking should be improved and the actual voice chat in the game should work, Ubisoft, because it doesn't at the minute, not for me anyway. If you can get it to work, that's terrific, but I do struggle to get it working, and 9 out of 10 times I just end up asking people if they want to jump on Discord. But honestly, that shouldn't be the solution here. Something that Wildlands got right, I think, is they implemented a world that felt really alive. Now, I understand the theme of Breakpoint was this island that had been taken over by this lifeless company, but even through liberating the island, it didn't become more alive. So I feel that element that was done so well in Wildlands needs to be brought back for the next Ghost Recon. I want my car radio back so badly. Please.
This fight with the rebels is nothing less than a battle for the very freedom of Bolivia.
And a big one that I think console players will stand up and shout yes to is official mod support. Let's recognize that these modders are really good at what they do, and they put in some really cool ideas to this game with the help of nobody but themselves and the community around them. So I think the right thing to do is to definitely look at the modders and say, yes, you guys are awesome, and we want to help you make what you're making in an official capacity. Okay. Let's have a look here. Guy over there. They're looking away. That works for me. Generator there. And I can see a guy on my left. I'm gonna have to put this one to sleep. Sweet dreams. Bravo 2? No, he went for a nap, mate. There's a difference. Yeah, he's down. Down for a nap, just like yourself. Okay, generator's off. OperaTIER up there. Let's do some rock climbing. Let's get this drone tech. I do love the free head cam in this. Oh. Good night. Because when you're climbing ladders and you're running around, it does have a similar feeling to how DayZ feels, which I'm quite fond of DayZ as well. Is this guy gasping at me? He's got negative movement. You know what that means? He didn't hear the gasping. I wonder if I can take out that OperaTIER before this guy hears me. Oh.
Damn it!
So, as I grab this last bit of tech and complete this mission, I'm going to give you that last tip, which I think some will roll your eyes at and some will go, you know, that's actually a great idea. And it is to do this more often. Just be in the game and avoid fast traveling where you possibly can. Now, if it's going to take you an hour to get from A to B and you'd rather not, then that's totally fine. But growing up with these games that were on larger scales, I didn't have the luxury of fast travel as much as we all do now. And being able to traverse through such a big world with all these varied biomes and weather systems, it's pretty special. So you may find you miss out on some stuff. If you don't, I guess, stop and smell the roses every now and then. This video was pretty special for me to make, and one I was honestly nervous about putting out. Yeah, I still get nervous about putting out videos, but if you watch to the end, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.